Right now, it's time to deep dive into the collectively crushed soul of the degenerate trifecta in a segment we hate to call BetAches. All right, I had none. I'm very fortunate. My family has their health. I didn't lose any stupid bets this week, but we can count on Harry betting, and we'll go back to the Thursday night game. This is a fun one, Harry. What'd you do in the first preseason game?
Yeah, Thursday night, the preseason game between the Raiders and the Jaguars. On a couple other shows I also gave out a teaser. I gave out a teaser. Raiders, who were 3-0, whether they're in Las Vegas, whether in Oakland or LA, in the Hall of Fame games in their career, 3-0. So I'm like, okay, Jacksonville 0-1. So I'll take the Raiders at plus 4.5 on a 7-point teaser. Key number that you got over 4. So Raiders plus the 4.5, no problem. And I take under 37.5, where 6 of the last 9 Hall of Fame games had been 30 points or less. And this game was great. It was 20-0 at halftime. I'm like, okay, whatever. Then Raiders get a field goal. It's 20 to Jacksonville gets a field goal. It's 20-3, end of the third. I'm like, okay, midway through the fourth, who cares anymore? Raiders get a touchdown. So anyways, there's 3 minutes to go and the game's at 30, but I got 37.5 under. Jacksonville goes down, and Sal, we texted each other on that. A horrendous pass interference call on third down, which would have brought up fourth down for Jacksonville with no namers in at 4th and 11. They call pass interference. Anyways, Jacksonville gets a touchdown. So, all right, kick the extra point, make it 37. I win the game with a couple minutes to go. They decide to go for 2, and I'm like, that's stupid. Why? What, you want 11? You want 11 points for the 2 points? I don't know. Anyways, they go for 2, and they don't even pass. So it looked like they have nobody lined up for a wide receiver. So I figure that everyone knows it's going to be a run. It's a run, and the Raiders defense didn't even move. They just stood there and let the guy walk in the end zone. It was like the Pro Bowl. They just
let him right through. No, we're not going to tackle here. Yeah.
And that loses. Not to mention, Kyle Busch at minus 142 over Hamlin. And I hadn't bet NASCAR all year because I've had enough of it. But baseball's been killing me, so I bet Busch, who was minus 142 to beat Hamlin. We heard the Busch Hamlin.
How many times are we going to hear about this NASCAR?
I know, but he was the favorite. Why was he the favorite? He hadn't finished in top 10 since June, so I thought something was fixed in it. So 20 laps in, he wrecks with Austin Cindric, who is a guy who would never be in the top 20 for anything, and I turned the station. I can't find stations, and the race is on USA Channel. I don't even know what it is. It took me longer to find where the race was on TV than Busch lasted in the race, 20 laps, and he was done.
Well, that's not an indictment. It could take you 2.5 hours to find the station. Yeah. But all right. You know what I like? That Harry does not watch the Super Bowl, but watches intensely every single play of the first preseason game right there and loses. That's what you get, Harry. Good for you.
True.
Bri, you had a loss on Friday. I remember you were bemoaning this.
Yeah, I had the Blue Jays on Friday night against the Twins, and I needed them for a 15 to close out a 15-1 parlay. I'd hit everything prior to that. They're down 5-0, so I kind of just wrote it off. But they battle back. They make it 5-5, and then going into the 10th was an absolute disaster. The Blue Jays had bases loaded with 1 out. They don't score. Although they should have scored that inning because they didn't send the runner on a base hit prior to that. They go into the bottom of the 10th. They strike out the first batter, but the ball's in the dirt. The catcher throws it away. So now it's 1st and 3rd, no outs. The next batter has a grounder to the third baseman, throws home. Should have easily had the guy out at the plate. The catcher drops the ball.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
That was just like that whole situation was terrible. Although I think I was more mad the next day. We don't bet soccer that often. Like, all right,
not
here's
enough.
the first weekend of EPL. I'm going to jump on it. You mentioned, you put it out in a text message about, maybe taking Chelsea in that game to win. I didn't have a ton on it, but I bet the draw. I don't know what it was. It was like plus 200 draw first half. And I also bet draw for the game. It's 0-0. I don't know if you remember early in that game, Sal, I was complaining because there was a guy laying on the field for about 9 to 10 minutes. So they add 10 minutes of additional time in the first half, which is like the most I've ever seen, with about 8 or 9 minutes left. Chelsea draws 8 or 9 minutes into the additional time.
It was like 53 minutes. Yeah.
8 or 9 into the additional time.
Yeah, 45
Chelsea draws a penalty kick. They score on it. It was the last play of the half, so it goes 1-0 Chelsea. I lose the draw first. Thank God I did not. Thank God. I had I didn't have a ton on it, but it still sucked between the game draw and that first half draw.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's soccer for you. Guys, football will be here. I promise. I promise. Not preseason, the ones that count. Yeah. Yeah. Darren, what were you going to say?
Well, you guys just reminded me. I couldn't believe I'm getting those soccer text messages again from you guys. It's like, what is wrong with you guys?
Hey, for
Saturday
the record,
morning, we got three different guys, from all different parts of the country here, texting about some Everton soccer game that I am like,
I need a 9 a.m. college kickoff. Otherwise, I'm going to be betting this shit. I need it.
I
need
know
it to start.
it's sick. It really is sick. And now that Brian is talking about that Blue Jays parlay, I did actually have, I guess, a little bit of a bet ache. I had a 12-1 parlay. I needed the Mariners to finish it off on, I believe it was Friday night. And they were down 3-0 going into the ninth. So I chalked it up as a loss. But of course, they get my hopes up by scoring 3 in the bottom of the ninth to tie it up. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll hit this 12-1. It was going to be a gift. And then, of course, the Angels, I don't know why more teams kind of don't do this to put pressure on the opposing team, but you rarely see it. Angels, guy on second base, put out there to start the inning. They actually bunt the guy over, sack fly. They take a 4-3 lead. Seattle comes out. They don't bunt the guy over. They're playing for the win, obviously. And, ground out to short, strike out, fly out. They don't even score a run to even tie the game up. So that stunk. Why even tie it up at that point? Why even come back for me there? Why even do that?
The Mariners will win tonight. I promise you that. Don't worry about it. They'll get back on track.